Cadeyrn, a bit of a retro look. Is it nice to be winding back the clock a little bit this week?
Yeah, it's always cool. Something like this comes up. Just got shown a photo of young Justin Harrison wearing something very similar to this, and it's actually way more identical to this than I realised. So yeah, it's very cool.
Is there a bit of a buzz around the place this week? I guess in what is a big game and big moment for the club?
Yeah, I think we're rolling into this week feeling pretty good. What could have been like a little bit of a hurdle on the weekend, go up and play in terrible conditions. No one's had an easy game in Sydney, but we've gone up there, got the win, and then another home game with Crusaders should be really good.
We played in many games like that. It was pretty wet and wild out there.
I think I've played in one other game that wet, but it was just like Curl Park in Manly when we're not allowed to play in the main oval. So yeah, I did have to hold my breath at the bottom of a few breakdowns.
To get away, you mentioned it, but to get away with a gritty win like that, it's going to be a pretty crucial one in the stretch home, isn't it?
Yeah, all those points on the table going to be pretty critical when you look at it now. And if we're any chance of overtaking one of those top two teams, if they fall over a little bit in the next couple of rounds, we've got to claim every point we can get.
Block was probably just chatting to you a bit before about 2004. Like, do you remember much of that year?
I wasn't, didn't watch all the games that year, but Mark Gerard being a Northern Beaches boy, we kept an eye on how he'd go, and then of course he absolutely killed it in that final. So me and my family are pretty happy with that. But yeah, it's a pretty legendary team getting around at that time.
It's been a hard slog for this group against the Crusaders in the years since. They're obviously not going as well as we're used to seeing this year, but what would it mean to this group to get that win this weekend?
That'd be really cool. I know they're struggling, but still no one's taken them lightly whatsoever. So I think it'll be the last of the New Zealand teams that I haven't beaten since I've been to the Brumbies, so I'm really keen to get it.
Well, I was going to say, Nev, I think maybe Slips might be the only one out of everyone here who's beaten the Crusaders, is that?
I've beaten them with the Rebels.
Right,
yeah,
okay, cool.
It's a little while ago.
Right, yeah. What is that like coming up against them? Because they are such, they've got that aura about them as a club. How important is it not to take them lightly, given where they are on the table?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever taken them lightly in their existence. So it won't be any exception this weekend. But you have a plan and you just stick to it as hard as you can. Yeah. And hopefully you get the result from that.
Caitlin was just talking about 04 as well. I know you said Gerardo, but George Smith, obviously, Northern Beaches boy as well. Are those the sorts of guys you think of when you think back to the Brumbies heyday and glory years and that sort of thing? Yeah,
those guys, and for sure, obviously, the guys with their name on the stand, Bernie, our coach, and Gregan. But I think you look at the team sheet again, you're just like, wow, like what a side getting around. Yeah, but of course, George and Gerardo, who have got to meet quite a bit at other times in my career as well. So, yeah, good blokes.
Because Super Rugby, in terms of like having a long history, it's not that long, 30 years or so. So when you have a moment like this weekend to celebrate what happened 20 years ago now, it's I don't know, does it bring that air of excitement around the club, even for young guys who some of them only just born when this last title was won?
Yeah, it should. It's good to remember those legendary times, and fortunately at a club who's been able to put up a few of those moments in their short history, so we're lucky in that regard.
I think also that game is the record crowd for Canberra Stadium, like 28,700, which they'll never get again because of occupational health and safety. But you guys want to play in front of a big crowd this week, don't you? You want Canberrans to sort of get on board and remember the good times, but celebrate what you guys are doing now? Yeah,
for sure. We'd love to see as many people get to the game as possible. I think our performances probably warrant the support of anyone who's interested in it. So I know there's a lot of different factors at play, but yeah, we'll do whatever it takes to get people in through the turnstiles.
Sorry, I was going to say I'll vote for you too. You guys have had a few of those games this year. Not only does it give you a chance to throw the ball around a bit more, but it's probably a fair bit more comfy out there for fans if they're going to come along. Yeah,
I've been to the stand, so I can confirm that when the sun's up, it is a lot nicer than when it's like a minute after it's gone down.
Especially after playing in rain last week. Hopefully it dries up. But in terms of, we were talking to Darcy last week, obviously he's moving on. but that lock spot you guys have at the moment in the competition, can you talk to us a little bit about that and how hard it is to try and hold on to a spot, not just in the starting side, but the game day squad?
Yeah, we've had a bit of rotation through that spot this year, like between the four of us mostly, and then also Shorey the 1 week where had a few injuries. But yeah, it'd be sad for Dust to move on. Like we've worked pretty closely for, like this is our 5th season now, so things happen in football careers, I know that well. But yeah, we're not really looking beyond this season, and yeah, while there's competition for spots, it's good for us, hopefully push us all to new heights.
And you talked about the rotation a couple of weeks ago. You were the one who missed out. Like, I know everything's working towards, you know, a greater goal, but how much does it light the fire inside you when you're not in that team that week?
Yeah, a little bit. Even if you get told that it's like a rest or something like that, you never want to take that on full face value and make sure that you're ready to prove that you deserve your spot once you get another chance.
Walker mentioned just before, like 04, some of these boys were barely born. Have you had to kind of educate them a bit about this game this week, the 04 Grand Final?
I haven't really yet. Might just have to put it up on a few TVs so they know what we're talking about.
Teach them about VHSs.
Yeah, find an old DVD.